Good morning. It's Chris Robinson, Robinson Ag Marketing with Wednesday, June 10th, pre-opening grain comments. Lots to talk about. U.S. strikes back at Iran. So the S&P 500 still hasn't taken out yesterday's low. Yesterday's low was a 5% correction. Be careful getting sucked into the insanity of the news headlines. You know, the stock market, is at all-time highs. If it goes down, everybody thinks every 5% correction is the beginning of the end. Don't fall down that trap, guys. We're going to have down days. We're going to have up days. If you can't take 10, 15, 20% corrections, you probably shouldn't be in the stock market because they regularly happen. And trying to predict when to get out and when to get back in does not work. So just put that in your pipe for the rest of the day. And the crude oil, we're back up to $89, but we haven't gone to $100 or a little bit. 87.50 is really, really big. Yesterday we hit a 2-month low. That didn't hit the news because of the what happened with the Apache helicopter. But we had fallen to a 2-month low in crude oil prices. Good news, bad news. This morning, the CPI came out. The inflation came out higher than expected. No surprise to anybody there. It's because of what's going on with fuel. And it's more of a problem for the politicians, I think, moving forward. If inflation does come back, if inflation is going to be here, generally that's good for commodities. So somebody needs to tell the managed funds who just basically got out of their entire long position in the past 10 days. Overnight, are we finally finding a little bit of a bottom here? I would imagine so. After a big sell-off and the fact that we have the USDA tomorrow, which, at this point, can they really hurt us anymore? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It's already been a pretty horrendous correction. But we do have that tomorrow. Dees corn, $4.48.5, up 3 cents. November beans finished up a nickel, 11.37 and a quarter. Found support at 11.30. Spot corn, 4.18 was the low, trading at 4.22, up 2.5. So good news, bad news. Hopefully the sell-off is over. New crop corn did get to within 2 cents of its contract lows, which go back 2 years. So the interesting thing is, we went from 30-month highs to 2-year lows on this correction, from 506 down to 441. The contract low is 39, going back to August of 2024. So I would say this: if you're following my letter, good for you. We've rolled down all the puts we had. If we had puts on before the report, we rolled them down. Okay, that's just all you can do, because you do not want to have expensive puts go off the books worthless if we get a rally here. So roll your puts down, roll your puts down, roll your puts down. Maintain a floor, because there's still downside risk if this debacle keeps sliding lower in corn. And since I don't play the game of telling you the lows are in or the highs are in, manage your risk. Okay. Now, I have suggested for people that make cash sales, if you made cash sales of $5 or $4.90 or $4.80, and you want to re-own those because we're trading at $4.40, that's up to you. You don't have to spend a lot. You can spend 3, 4, 5 cents for a couple weeks. You can spend a dime for a month to 2 months. You do not have to spend a fortune. Ditto for the beans. The beans, we were at 12.14. We had a dollar break. Basically, we dropped down to this 11.30 level. If you want to re-own anything you sold up there, if you sold $12 beans and you think that, we're going to have a weather issue, go ahead, and I wouldn't go bananas, but you don't have to spend a lot. 15, 20 cents for something for the next couple months, where you could make, 4 or 5 times that if it works out. If not, all you lose is the 15 cents. Buying the call option is better than getting long futures and then getting run over in case we drop lower, continue to drop lower. So that's why a call option works. And the last thing is, because you don't have to do anything, but if you want to, there are some strategies out there which let you participate with defined risk, where you know what your max risk is. And if the market does rally, you participate. Some good action in the KC wheat. KC wheat hit that 62% on Friday. We're up another 6 cents overnight, 6.36 3/4. Chicago, also higher overnight. Let me double check here real quick with Chicago. July Chicago is trading at $5.94, almost back to $6. We got a $6 print, a good recovery there, up 9 cents overnight. So wheat's trying to fight back. Again, the market's so oversold. We were overdue for a correction higher. Same idea. If you had puts on, roll them down, roll them down, roll them down. Don't lift your puts, because if you lift your puts and then we keep sliding lower, having someone say, gee, sorry, we lifted our puts and we broke another 30 cents. Sorry, that was a bad idea. That doesn't really help anybody. So keep your puts on there. Make them as cheap as possible. Moving over to the protein complex. Fat cattle were up $3 yesterday. Feeder cattle up 3.5. We'll see if we get more volatility here with the screwworm talking. We'll see if you get the funds who are still long. The funds have not gotten out of their long position in the cattle. So we're hanging in there. The level I'd watch in August is if we can get north of 360, great. But right now we're basically in this 350 to 360 range, waiting to see where the next shoe drops in feeder cattle. And lean hogs, we'll wrap up with that. 6-month lows, just like the grains. You've got to get after it. You've got to roll your puts down, roll your puts down, roll your puts down. You don't want expensive puts going worthless if this thing turns around and rallies. If you are selling animals in the 6-month lows, and if you have the financial means to do it, I would look at buying cheap calls, not because I know we're going to rally, but because in case we do, you're making a cash sale into 6-month lows. You might want to, hold back a buck and a half on a cheap call in case we get a rally a month from now. All right, guys, this is Chris Robinson, Robinson Ag Marketing, 312-638-8868. If you're not getting my letter, sign up at robinsonagmarketing.com. Have a great Wednesday. Again, I'll be on RFD TV this afternoon at 11:45.